A look at downtown LA, where the city council has approved a massive redevelopment project. It aims to offer more housing and mixed-use buildings in the Skid Row area that now has warehouses and cold storage buildings.
When the average person sees this headline, I know exactly what they're thinking. They're thinking, finally, homes for the homeless. Skid Row is finally being fixed. And I get why people react that way, because the headline is designed to make you feel good before you ask any questions. But you need to slow on down, because this is not just homes for the homeless. This is a $2 billion mega development near Skid Row with residential units, with office space, with restaurants, with retail, open space, and parking. According to the project details, we're talking about 1,589 residential units, but only a fraction of that is affordable housing. Guess how many? Around 262 units. So, before everybody starts clapping, I want you to ask a real question. Who's this actually for? Because Skid Row is not being fixed. Skid Row is being transformed. There's a large difference in this. See, in Los Angeles, every time they use words like housing, they always have to add in equity, compassion. They have to add in community benefit. Anytime they use these combinations of words, or even if they use them separately, you have to start looking for the money trail, because the language is always beautiful. Always beautiful. But the outcome, that's a different story.
Laura, the city council approved the project yesterday. And to give you an idea of the scope of the project, take a look here behind me. It takes up this entire block and even some of the buildings on the other side of 4th Street. And to give you an idea of the location, this is sort of the edge of Skid Row, the center of Skid Row. The heart of it is just a couple of blocks to our west. The Arts District is a few blocks to our east, and Little Tokyo is a few blocks to our north.
They want you to see the tents on the sidewalk. Then they show you a shiny rendering, and your brain is supposed to connect the dots. Tents bad, new building good, problem solved. But that's not how any of this works. If the problem was simply not enough buildings, Los Angeles would have solved homelessness years ago. This city has cranes everywhere, luxury apartments everywhere, empty units everywhere, new developments everywhere. And yet and still, people are still sleeping on sidewalks. Why? Because the street crisis in Los Angeles is not just a housing problem. It's addiction. It's mental illness. It's crime. It's broken families. It's no law enforcement. It's non-profit money. It's political cover. It's a system where failure keeps generating new budgets. And when failure becomes profitable, failure becomes permanent. That's the part nobody wants to say out loud on well, they can't say it out loud on mainstream media because they're profiting. Now, let's be clear. Housing matters. Nobody's saying that people should sleep outside. Nobody's saying that people don't need shelter. But if you put someone in a brand new unit and you don't deal with the addiction, you don't deal with the psychosis, you don't deal with the fentanyl, you don't deal with the meth, you don't deal with the trauma, you don't deal with the violence, you don't deal with the disorder, you didn't solve the problem. You relocated the problem. You moved the crisis indoors. And in some cases, you create a building where the same chaos continues behind walls, except now it has a property manager. It has a service provider. It has a security contract. It has a maintenance contract and a budget that never ends.
The City Council has now approved a 10-building, 7.6-acre mixed-use complex. The architecture firm Studio 111 has these renderings on its website of what is planned to replace these cold storage facilities at 4th and Central. They include a 30-story skyscraper, retail space, and 1,500 units of residences, with at least 260 units of low-income housing.
Yeah, I think they told them about 2 years. They should be all shut down in October, you know?
Trucker operator Andy Hinojosa says he's been pulling into Los Angeles cold storage since 1985 and will lose jobs when the complex breaks ground.
It's going to kill the work for those truck drivers. And I mean, you know, we're going to pick up loads now. So it's kind of a bad thing.
But the president of Los Angeles Cold Storage, which also is a partner in the project, believes it will benefit Los Angeles, telling the LA Times it's an investment in the future.
Do you think that's compassion? No, that's management. And here in Los Angeles has become phenomenal at managing the climb.
Over the last 7 years, California has spent over $24 billion on homelessness, yet managed to add about 30,000 new homeless people. So where is this money going? I'd like to know, and I'm sure you would too. I requested an audit of California's Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program, interesting name, to find out how our elected leaders are really spending your hard-earned dollars. Some leaders of these homeless programs earn annual salaries close to $500,000 a year, while their lower-level employees are paid so little that they face homelessness themselves.
The city's own controller audit found that 1 in 4 city-funded interim housing beds went unused over a 5-year period, costing taxpayers an estimated $218 million. More than half of people leaving city-funded interim housing return to homelessness or unknown destinations. Less than 1 in 5 secure permanent housing. So when they tell you, we just need more buildings, you need to ask them, what happened with the buildings you already had? What happened with the beds you already paid for? What happened with the billions that were already spent? And why does the answer always seem to be, give us more money? This is the Los Angeles formula. Create a crisis, mismanage the crisis, expand the bureaucracy around the crisis, call it compassion, then accuse regular folks of being heartless when they ask for results. That's the trick.
We did speak to people off camera who are concerned what will happen to the unhoused population that lives in this area. They're concerned that they could be uprooted to make way for that project. And there are also some business groups in Little Tokyo that oppose the project. One business owner telling us off camera he worries what it will do to real estate prices in the area.
And look at how these projects were sold. They don't say we're remaking downtown for developers. They don't say that. They don't say we're remaking downtown for investors, office space, for restaurants, and people with money. No. They wrap it in the pain of Skid Row. They show you the suffering first. Then they show you a rendering. Then they say, this is progress. But progress for whom? For whom? For the person folded over on the sidewalk like this? For the taxpayer who can barely even afford their rent, their mortgage, property taxes, the gasoline? For the small business owner who has to clean human waste out of his doorway every morning? Or is it for the people who get contracts, approvals, tax advantages, union jobs, consulting fees, nonprofit partnerships, and political talking points? Because in Los Angeles, the crisis is always the justification. The homeless crisis justifies the money. The housing crisis justifies the zoning. The affordability crisis justifies the subsidies. The public safety crisis justifies the program. But somehow, year after year after year after year after year, the crisis remains. So at some point, you have to ask, are they trying to end the crisis? Are they trying to end the crisis? Or are they building an economy around the crisis?
Governor Newsom has also stepped in on this one to fast-track the approval process, making 4th and Central eligible for judicial streamlining under new state infrastructure law. But despite the momentum, it's not without controversy. Community groups in Little Tokyo and Skid Row have protested, saying this development risks displacement and there's just not enough genuine affordable housing units. spots.
Here's what bothers me. The average person in Los Angeles has no real say in any of this. You're told, pay more taxes, pay more rent, pay more for gas, pay more for insurance, pay more for groceries, pay more for utilities. Then you watch billions move around in the name of fixing the city, while the streets still look like garbage. And if you question it, they're going to call you cruel. No. Cruel is letting people rot on the sidewalk while politically connected systems get richer. Cruel is pretending a drug addict just needs a luxury building. Cruel is telling taxpayers they have no right to demand results. Cruel is using human suffering as marketing material for a real estate transformation. That's cruel. And that's why I wanted to bring this story to you, because this is not just about one project now. This is about how Los Angeles, the system here in Los Angeles, the politicians here in Los Angeles, how they work. They sell emotion. They collect money. They avoid accountability. Then they rebrand failure as progress. And the people who suffer the most are the same people they claim to care about. The homeless stay homeless, stay broken. The taxpayers stay broke, stay suffering. The neighborhoods stay unsafe. The politicians, press conference. Developers get approvals. The nonprofits, another contract. And regular people are told, hold on, just wait. This takes time. How much time? How many billions? How many dead bodies? How many encampments? How many audits? How many promises? At what point do we stop measuring compassion by how much money gets spent and start measuring it by how many people actually get better? Because that's the standard. Not how many units were announced, not how many renderings were released, not how many politicians got to stand in front of a microphone. The standard should be simple. Did the tents go away? Did the addicts get treatment? Did the mentally ill get care? Did the streets get safer? Did the taxpayer get accountability? Did the person on the sidewalk actually get a life back? If the answer is no, then stop calling it a solution. Call it what it is, a machine. A machine. And that machine is not designed to end homelessness. That machine is designed to process homelessness, to study it, to manage it, to fundraise off of it, to build around it, to campaign on it, to profit from it, but not to end it. So, when you see a headline like this, Skid Row to change forever, do not just cheer. Ask better questions. How many units are actually affordable? Who gets those units? Who owns the land? Who gets the contracts? Who manages the services? What happens to the people already on the street? What happens if they refuse treatment? What happens if the building fills up and the tents are still outside? Because Los Angeles does not have a compassion shortage, as I say over and over and over and over again. Los Angeles has an accountability shortage. And until that changes, every shiny new project is going to come with the same old problem sitting right outside the front door. Skid Row is not being fixed. It's being rebranded. And you're being told not to notice.